Hey everybody, boys and girls, welcome back to IELTS How To, your favorite channel teaching you how to pass your IELTS exam with tips, tricks, and strategies. So, today I want to talk about, of course, the hardest section in your IELTS exam, which is the writing. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed a trend yet, but we're posting a lot of writing videos. Why? Because that's the hardest one in the exam. So you guys need as much support, as many strategies and techniques as you possibly can in order to pass with band 7 or even 8 in your writing section. Specifically today, I want to talk about how to plan your essay. And it sounds kind of like, Alex, why should I plan my essay? I can just go to the exam and wing it and look at the question and start writing. Well, there's one very important reason why you should plan your essay very carefully, and you should spend a significant amount of your total time on planning your essay. That reason is because if you plan your essay properly, half of your marks towards your essay will come just from doing that. Meaning, if you refer back to the 4 categories on which you're being marked, and I've discussed this in one of the previous videos, but if you plan your essay very thoroughly and you do a good job, you're going to get maximum marks in your task achievement and coherence and cohesion. Now, I'm going to get to that in a second and explain what does that mean. So let's have a look. In order to get the maximum number of marks in your task achievement and coherence and cohesion, you need to be able to answer the question directly. You need to be able to provide relevant ideas. You need to be able to actually expand on those ideas and provide examples that are relevant to it once again. And finally, you need to be able to organize your essay in a logical, coherent way, which again, we'll get to in a second. So let's backtrack a little bit. Now we're talking about planning your essay. First of all, you should know by now that you will get 60 minutes in total for your essay. And as per IELTS, as per many tutors, many videos, it's recommended you spend 20 minutes for task 1, which is the letter or describing the image, depending on whether you're taking the academic or general IELTS. And it's recommended, obviously, that you spend 40 minutes for your essay. Now, what is the breakdown? How much time you should actually spend on each part? So let's have a look. You've got 40 minutes in total to do your whole essay. Now, my recommendation is that you spend 10 full minutes just to plan it very thoroughly. So again, you're going to spend 10 full minutes to plan it very thoroughly. You're going to spend 20 minutes actually writing the essay start to finish, and you're going to spend the last 10 minutes to proofread and check your mistakes and improve your essay a little bit, which I'm going to get to in a second. Now, let's have a look at each one of those points and what it involves. Is it an argumentative? Is it an advantage and disadvantage? Is it a discussion and all of that? So again, we covered this in one of the previous videos. You can refer to that later. Now, once you figure out what kind of essay it is, you need to make sure you're paying very close attention to the sub-questions. Okay? So what does that mean? In IELTS general training, usually you will have a very straightforward question. If you're giving the academic exam, they will usually have one question, but it's got a follow-up question, meaning it's a sub-question. So for example, they might ask you, what is your opinion about large shopping malls replacing small community stores, right? But then they might ask you a follow-up question, like how does that affect the local community and how does that affect the local economy? So you need to pay attention because you have to cover every one of those aspects, every one of those sub-questions. One thing that's extremely, extremely important is that you check if they ask for your opinion. Because if they ask for your opinion, obviously you're going to have to say what your opinion is. If they don't ask you for your opinion, you don't need to mention that part at all. Now, whenever we teach our students through our courses on how to actually write the essay, we highly recommend to write the introduction and conclusion first. Now, why do we recommend that? Because first of all, it's very easy to do. You don't need to think outside the box. You don't need to come up with the examples because everything that you need, you have within the question. Meaning you're going to take the keywords from the question, you're going to paraphrase them, plus you're going to give your opinion or your thesis or whatever the question is asking you for. And same idea for the conclusion. You don't actually need to add any new information in your conclusion. So that part is very simple to do and it only takes a few minutes. Now, what are you going to do with the rest of the time, with the rest of your 10 minutes? In this time, you're going to plan, obviously, what are your arguments or what are your ideas. So as you guys know, regardless of whether you're taking the paper or the computer-based test, you will have scrap paper where you can jot down your ideas. We strongly suggest you try to come up with as many ideas as you can. Again, that's going to vary depending on whether you're writing a one-sided essay where you just agree with the topic, or if you're discussing both sides. Again, that's totally going to vary. But regardless of how you do it or what kind of essay you have, I would recommend, and that's what we teach as well in our courses, is to have 2 to 3 ideas in favor, for example, and 2 to 3 ideas against. So you're going to kind of brainstorm and spit out your best ideas, and then you want to justify which one of them you can present the strongest argument. Meaning, for which one of them can you come up with the most examples, or which one of them you can really back up and support your ideas. So whenever you're actually planning your body paragraphs, this is the technique, or this is the strategy we recommend you follow. You don't need to write out your full body paragraphs, but we suggest you write out 3 things only. For example, let's stick to the same question that I just covered. For example, large shopping malls are replacing small stores, and how does that affect the local community, right? So what you're going to do in your body paragraphs, and again, that's going to vary. Some people write 2 paragraphs, some people write 3. We're not going to get into the details of that right now, but the important part is this. You need to give your main idea. Obviously, you need to explain it, right? So you need to support it, and you need to provide a relevant example, right? So let's say I'm in favor of large shopping malls replacing small shops. My idea in favor, meaning why that's a good thing, could be that it provides more variety for people, right? It's got more options. That's one possibility. Maybe another idea that you brainstorm is that people can save a lot of time because they can find everything in one place. That's another idea. The third idea could be that, for example, large shopping malls have many different facilities. You got movies, you got entertainment, you got arcades, restaurants, you got parking, you got all of these different things that you'll not find in your local community shop. So what you want to do, you want to take the strongest one of them all, right? Which one can you justify? Which one can you provide the most examples? Which one can you expand on the most? So for instance, the one I would go with in this situation is that actually large shopping malls help people save time. Why? Because everything is in one place, right? So this is the idea I'm going to give. I'm in favor of large shopping malls because it helps people save time. Now, you need to expand on this idea, right? So how does it help people save time? It helps people save time because you can find everything in one place. You've got grocery stores, for example. You got clothing stores. You got all kinds of other stores where you can get accessories or shoes or certain things and appliances for your home. So if you're going shopping, you can say that actually you can find everything in a very close proximity. You don't need to drive from one place to another. You can just walk around the mall and you can find everything in one place. Now, you need to provide an example as well. And of course, it has to be relevant to this, right? So for example, you can say that if you take somebody like a very busy person, somebody who runs their own business, or let's say a mother that's got children to look after and chores at the house and so on, right? You can say that between soccer practice, cooking lunch, cleaning the house, and doing all these different things that a mother usually does, there's very little time in a day to go to different places and drive to different places and actually look for things. So it's very convenient for a mother to find everything in one place. On top of that, you can even justify it even further and say that it's actually safer as well because it reduces how much driving she has to do because she only has to drive to one place. So not only is it better because it's convenient and saves time, but it also provides an extra layer of safety because everything is there. So this is just one quick example. But again, you want to give your main idea. Why do you agree? Why do you disagree? Why it's a good thing? Why it's a bad thing, right? And obviously, ideally, you want to have more than one idea, so you pick your best one. After that, you want to justify, you want to expand, you want to support your idea. And finally, you need to give a relevant example. And because we're still in the planning stage, so let's review what we have so far. We have the introduction done, we have the conclusion done, and we briefly outline our ideas. You don't need to write full sentences. For example, for my body paragraph 1, I could just write, my idea is, helps people save time. Where I'm expanding on my idea, I'm giving the explanation, I can say that you can find everything in one place. And my example, I can write, for example, busy moms, busy business people, right? That's all you need. And that's actually enough to move on to the second stage, which is actually writing your body paragraphs. Let's go there. If you followed all these steps that we mentioned so far, this part should be super simple. Why? Because half of your essay is done. Introduction is done, conclusion is done, you've got an outline of your body paragraphs, right? So this part is easy. You just need to write full sentences, you need to expand it, you need to try to implement different grammatical structures and have your connectors and link it all together. Again, we don't want to waste too much time on this, in this video in particular, because we want to cover the last part, which is absolutely crucial. To actually check your mistakes and proofread and check your spelling. And we're going to take this time to actually improve it, to help you go from 6.5 to 7, from 7.5 to 8, for example. As you remember, we spent 10 minutes on the first part, which is planning, 20 minutes on actually writing, and the last 10 minutes we want to spend on proofreading, checking, and improving. Proofreading, checking, and improving. So what does that actually involve? Obviously, the most important part is reducing the number of mistakes that you have. So that means spelling mistakes, that means punctuation mistakes, how you use your commas and full stops and semicolons and dashes, hyphens, and all of that kind of stuff. And finally, you want to fix your grammar. You want to reduce the number of mistakes that you make. And actually, a lot of people don't know this. And it's quite funny because we see lots of students, they try to use like fancy vocabulary that they found on YouTube, and they try to memorize all these phrases and put them in their essay. And obviously, IELTS examiners, they know this. They're trained to spot those things. So you can get a higher score not by finding fancy words and implementing them and actually getting caught by the IELTS examiners, because they know those are memorized phrases, but it's by reducing the number of mistakes that you're making. So what does that mean? That means you don't need to, you're better off actually to use a simple word to which you know the exact meaning and you know how to use it, rather than use a very fancy word but make a mistake where you use it in the wrong context, right? Meaning I would rather use a simple word correctly rather than use a fancy word incorrectly. That's going to help you actually get a higher score. When you're proofreading your essay, when you're checking your mistakes, I want you to actually write this down. I want you to pause this as we go along, and I want you to write this checklist down. And actually, maybe we'll even include it in the comment section or in the description. So I want you to, let's say, take an essay that you wrote and ask yourself the following questions. Question number 1. Did you cover every single keyword from the question? So if they ask you about large shopping malls, small shops, the local community, the local economy, did you cover all 4 of those somewhere in your essay? Question number 2. Did you stay on topic? Are you actually talking still about shopping malls and small shops? And are you always referring back to your thesis? Meaning the ideas and examples that you're giving, are they relevant to your thesis? Question number 3. In your body paragraphs, did you elaborate with relevant examples? Meaning whatever you use as an example, does it actually justify or is it relevant to your idea? Question number 4. Did you use enough linking words? Did you use enough connectors? And most importantly, did you use them in a natural way, or are you forcefully using firstly, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, finally? So of course it has to flow in a more natural way. And the last question, which is question number 5, is your paragraphing logical? Meaning, did you use the right number of paragraphs, and are you sticking to one main idea per paragraph? So those are the 5 questions, and if you answered yes to all of those, they will help you get as high of a score as you possibly can in your task achievement and coherence and cohesion, meaning 50% of your essay is going to come just from answering those 5 questions. Now, the other 50% is going to come from your lexical resources, or a fancy way to say your vocabulary. And the last one is your grammatical range and accuracy. So that's something we're going to say for the very end, which means you proofread, you check your spelling, grammar, and punctuation. You're not making those silly mistakes that we were talking about earlier. And again, I want to give you a list of questions, a checklist that's going to help you figure out if you're getting the maximum score or if you're having the minimum number of mistakes. Question number 1. Did you use non-repetitive and relevant vocabulary? So what does that mean? That's a fancy way of saying, did you use a lot of different synonyms? Meaning instead of just saying shopping mall, shopping mall, shopping mall, shopping mall, you said shopping center, you used the word plaza, you used words like supermarkets and shops and venues of entertainment and so on. Again, you don't want to be repetitive. You need to use different kinds of words. Question number 2, did you check your spelling? Are all of the words spelled correctly to the best of your ability or to the best of your knowledge? And again, my recommendation is if you're using a fancy word because you think it's going to give you a high score, but you're not quite sure about the spelling, you're 50-50, it's better you don't use it. It's better you use an easier or a more simple word with exactly correct, precise meaning and precise spelling. Question number 3. Did you sprinkle in some collocations? What does that mean, Alex? What are collocations? I'm glad you asked. Collocations are groups of words that always go together. And again, it's very important that you try to sprinkle them along in your essay. I'll give you an example. Again, if we're talking about malls and shopping centers, one example of a collocation could be state-of-the-art facilities. State-of-the-art facilities. So what does that mean? That's again a fancy way to say like amazing, comfortable, convenient, and extremely nice facilities. State-of-the-art facilities. Another example is high-end shopping malls, right? So high-end could be like expensive stores, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Versace, Hermes, and all of that. So maybe a high-end store, again, is one of those like super expensive, super fancy stores. Those are just some examples. And again, save that part for the end. Don't waste too much time when you're actually writing your essay and getting stuck thinking of collocations. Finish it quickly and spend more time at the end to add those things in. Now, the 4th question you want to ask yourself to improve your vocabulary and grammar is, did you actually use different kinds of grammar? Did you use complex sentences? Did you use different tenses? Past, present, perfect, continuous, future, and so on. Did you use active voice and passive voice? And if this is totally like over your head, just watch one of our previous videos where we explain 2 really simple and easy to use tricks that will help you improve your score for your grammar and for your coherence and cohesion. And if what I just explained is like totally over your head, complex sentences, these sentences, clauses, oh my God, I'm so lost. Just watch one of our previous videos. You can see it like somewhere over here. And we'll put a link as well in the description of 2 really, really simple tricks that anybody can learn in like 10 minutes to actually improve your grammar and improve your coherence and cohesion. Now let's summarize to make sure all of this sticks in your memory. I'm going to go really, really quickly. You're going to spend 40 minutes for your essay, out of which you will spend 10 minutes to plan it. This is extremely important because if you do it right, 50% of your marks will come just from those 2 things. You're going to spend 20 minutes in total to actually write it, and you're going to spend the last 10 minutes to fix it and improve it and reduce the number of mistakes that you made. Let's say you're practicing for your exam right now and you're writing your essays because you're desperate to pass your writing section. I want you to pick any essay that you've been practicing or any essay you found difficult, and I want you to post in the comment section how you planned your essay. So this way, one of our instructors can actually go through the comments and give you feedback if you're on the right path, or maybe there's something that you can tweak a little bit and do a better job at that. So I look forward to see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Wait. Before you go, it would mean the world to me and to our team if you subscribe to our channel right now, if you click like, and if you left a comment with a feedback. Anything you loved about this video or anything you'd want to see more of. I personally read all the comments. I personally reply to as many as I can. If you want to access any more free resources and bonuses and see some of our other courses, just head to www.ieltshowto.com or you can find the links below. See ya.